Entitled parent demands my healthiest food for her 3 kids. From user Expecto Corona. After that, entitled mom tried to smush my dog under her whale self because I was moving out. From user Chamander. And then we'll be wrapping up with entitled dad can't believe that science has evolved since 1950. From user Ghost75790X. Thank you so much to our posters for letting us read your stories. And if you would like us to read your stories next, please submit them to the r/Mr. Reddit subreddit. And if you're new, please subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories every single day. Entitled parent demands my healthiest food for her 3 kids. So my home is known for having tons of kids over at all times. I have a 14-year-old and an 8-year-old. There are about 10 kids on our block who are in my 8-year-old's age range, 5 others in my teens age range, and I have an open door policy for all kiddos. Every day of the week, I hear from multiple kids, "I'm hungry," or "I'm thirsty." I have never turned a kid away, even though I am very low income. I know that I will be feeding way more kids than my monthly budget allows, so I buy in bulk and lower cost food to feed the horde. For example, I will buy 4 or 5 organic apples for my kids to have after the neighborhood kids are gone, but I also buy 15 cheap, non-organic apples for everyone to munch on together while they are playing, or nice whole wheat bread for our morning toast with breakfast, but $1 loaves from the discount bread store for bulk PB&J. Enter entitled mom yesterday, walking up my driveway to about 10 little kids, including both my kids, sitting on my little front lawn, having apple slices, ham and cheese sandwiches with glasses of water. I have never met her before. Entitled mom. Are you feeding the kids? Me. Yes. They have been playing for a few hours, and a lot of them said they were hungry. I'm Expecto Corona. I reach out to shake her hand. Entitled mom. What are they eating? She ignores my hand. Just some apple slices and sandwiches, putting my hand down. Is that water clean? Yes, I have a Brita water pitcher. Entitled mom, rolling her eyes. That does not clean the water. Next time, give them bottled water. Gestures at random, very sweet girl and 2 others who are just as sweet. Me. I don't buy bottled. It's pretty expensive. Entitled mom. But you can get all this food? Me. Well, it's not that expensive when you buy in bulk and find discounts. Entitled mom squints at me like I just spoke Vulcan. Discounts? Me. Thinking I'm about to drop a knowledge bomb. Yeah, I go through a lot of food with all my sweet adopted kids. I laugh. Entitled mom scowls. Yeah, I get the cheaper bread and cheese and fruit and stuff because it's a lot of extra mouths to feed. Entitled mom. Quiet for a minute. Do you always feed your kids this junk? Well, when it's every day and this many kids, kind of, yeah. But when it's just me and my biological kids, we eat as organic and healthy as possible. Well, give my kids the good food too. I really can't afford that. I'm very low income, and feeding this many kids is already a bit of a strain. Entitled mom, raising a perfect eyebrow. Oh, really? You don't have to feed all the kids organic, just mine. Oh. Are they allergic to anything? Or gluten-free? No, I just don't want them eating junk. Just give them your organic food next time. Just them. Ma'am, I'm not going to make 3 plates only organic just for your kids. My kids are eating this too right now, and I just can't afford to do that. Well, if you're okay with your kids eating this junk, just give my kids their healthy food, and they can eat this instead. Me, very shocked. What? My 14-year-old coming into the conversation, very sassy to save me. If you want your kids to eat so healthy, You can always bring some of that healthy food to our house to make sure they have it in the afternoons. I can empty out one of my art binds so your kids can have a spot in our fridge for their food. Entitled Mom's voice goes up an octave, or 4. Why on earth would I put my food in your fridge? Daughter, if you won't put food in our fridge for your kids, then my mom should not be putting our food on our plates and in our cups for your kids either. Me, turning to daughter. Expecto Corona Jr., it's okay. Entitled Mom. No, let her finish. Daughter. Every day, your kids are at our house after school for about 5 hours. You never check on them. You never see if they're doing okay, and you never see who they are with. I didn't even know whose kids are yours. My mom is a super mom. Takes care of every kid that walks through our door like it's her own. She will feed any kid that says they're hungry. You should check on your kids. Ask them if they're hungry, and if they are, feed them then. Entitled Mom. How dare you? Storms back down our driveway, leaving her kids eating on our lawn. Me. Aw, Expecto Corona Jr., that was really ballsy of you. Daughter rolls her eyes and sits back down on her phone. Fast forward to this afternoon. Same kids, including Entitled Mom's kids. Same lawn, same snack. Entitled Mom briskly walking up driveway. Are they eating here again? Yes, they've been in our yard for 4 hours. All the kids were hungry. Is it organic? Entitled Mom aggressively points at the plate her daughter is holding. No, it's the same thing everyone else is eating. Entitled Mom. How dare you! I told you, organic only. Me, beyond frustrated. Ma'am, I can't do that. It's too expensive for me to do that. I can send them home if they say they're hungry, if you want to monitor what they're eating. No, if they are playing here, you should feed them. Me, visibly upset. Maybe you should not come over anymore after school then. They have to come here. I have plans in the afternoon, and there is no one home. Me, suddenly very sad, realizing how much Entitled Mom does not care about her very wonderful kids. So basically, I've been a babysitter for you without even realizing it? In that case, they can come over here whenever they want, for as long as they need to be or want to be, and I will keep feeding them and taking care of them, because someone needs to show them what a mother is. Entitled Mom starts to say something, shakes her head, and storms off down my driveway, once again leaving her kids with us. Her daughter is very, very sweet, and my 8-year-old's close friend. The other 2 boys are just awesome. They play for a few more hours, and then I watch from my front door as they go home to make sure they get into the house okay. We'll see what happens tomorrow after school. Today's update. So, I got home from work today a few hours ago. Entitled Mom's kids were in my yard. My husband was watching them and all the other ones. He handed me the phone. We only have one with service, so it stays with whichever parent is with the kids. He laughed at me for all the notifications that went off all day to the point he had to silence them. Thank you all for having such wonderful input and being so concerned for her kids. He then told me that Entitled Mom was at my mom's house having tea with her. I hugged all the children and headed over there. Oh, and I found her and my mother in my mother's office on the computer filling out forms. My mom didn't even let her speak before word vomiting her situation at me. My mom, who is blunt, straightforward, and fearless. Hi, Expecto. This is Entitled Mom, who will now be known as Molly. Molly is going through some stuff right now, but she does understand how much of a jerk she was to you. Molly looks embarrassed. My mom. Apparently, Molly got married her junior year of high school to a man 20 years older than her. She was doing a lot of drugs, so her parents let her do it because they thought it was going to save her. She never finished high school, she never went to college, and she has no life experience. Molly looks down at her hands. My mom. Those 3 precious babies of hers out there were all done with in vitro and donor sperm. Me. Okay. Visibly confused and taken aback. My mom. Well, 3 months ago, her husband came home from work at local huge industrial company and told her that she and the kids needed to move out because he had gotten a woman at work pregnant, God's way, and that those children were not his because genetically they were not attached to him. He got himself a really expensive lawyer. Me, speechless. Molly, crying very quietly. My mom. Molly had a little money saved from her wife allowance and moved into the neighborhood at the beginning of June. She has no idea how to do anything on her own, and what little money she had, she has already blown through on rent, security deposit, and monthly bills that she had no idea how to do because her husband did everything for her. My mom puts hand on Molly's shoulder, squeezing it gently. My mom. So now we are online doing the forms for TANF and SNAP benefits so that she can have a little bit of relief right now, but she has something to say to you. Molly. I'm sorry, Expecto. I never should have acted that way towards you, especially in front of the kids. I know you're doing really nice things for the entire neighborhood, and I should not have been so rude. My mom, actually sipping her tea like a boss. And? Molly. I was a jerk. My mom. When her food stamps come in, we're going to take her shopping to show her how to buy in bulk and to show her how to meal prep for a week. Me. Okay, Mom. My mom. So go start dinner. I've invited Molly to eat with us. We will finish up these forms and come over to your house in a few minutes. Me. Okay, Mom. So I left and went over to my house, made some bread dough for rolls, and popped a frozen lasagna in the oven. Then I hung out on the lawn with the kids and my husband for about 20 minutes until Molly and my mom came over. My mom and husband entertained the kids with some games, and Molly and I sat in our living room and talked. Turns out, Molly is actually pretty nice when she's not in a crazy panic and stressed. It turns out that the appointments she has in the afternoon are her working her first job ever at Burger King a few towns over. She is so embarrassed, she didn't want to say it was for work. She is 44 and has absolutely no life experience, just like my mom said. And her obsession with whole grain and organic food apparently comes from the cook her husband hired, who was super hippy-dippy. She'll be able to call the Department of Health and Welfare on Monday or Tuesday about her application for food stamps and cash assistance. I guess she was more of a scared, embarrassed, stressed out parent instead of entitled. I don't think we're going to turn into best friends or anything. I will help her get some resources to get a GED, but I think her conversation with my mom kind of broke her and built her back up. I really wish my mom had waited until I got home from work, but she saw the opportunity and she took it. Next we've got Entitled Mom Tried to Smush My Dog Under Her Whale Self Because I Was Moving Out. Story time. I'm the unfortunate spawn of an entitled mom, and because of how she was, I decided to move out when I was 18. After a night out, I had just gotten back to a relative's house where I was staying for that week. I plugged in my dead phone. I turned it on, and it instantly blew up with texts and voicemails from my entitled mom. Each message got a little more hostile until she was threatening that she was going to call the cops to come get me, and she was going to kick me out of her house if I didn't answer her calls right that second. If you've ever called a phone that was turned off or dead, it's pretty easy to tell because it goes straight to voicemail instead of ringing. So I thought it was ridiculous that she expected me to somehow know she left those voicemails on my dead phone. That's not the worst part of this story though. I never called back. I was 18. She was treating me like a child, so I just ignored her for the rest of the night and thought about what I should do. I decided that since she said I was getting kicked out if I didn't answer her call, I should take her seriously and assume that I am kicked out. So the next night, I go up there with some luggage bags. I walk in the house and sit them down, immediately being confronted about them. This was about 5 years ago, so this is the conversation as I remember it. Some things may be inaccurate. Entitled Mom. What are those for? I'm moving out. Note, I was polite about it at first. Entitled Mom starts fake sobbing. Me. Goes off to pack my stuff because I'm not falling for this crap. I've seen her do it too many times to get her way. She realizes it's not working on me, so immediately drops the act. She follows me to my room, yelling and screaming. Something like, "You can't leave me. I'm your mother. You have to do what I say." Me. I'm 18 now. I don't have to listen to you. Yes, you do, little girl. I'm your mom. She used to call me little girl all the time, and it infuriated me. I continue to pack my stuff. I'm gonna just call your relative and tell them not to let you stay with them. Let's see how you like being homeless. She calls them and puts it on speaker with this smug look on her face, like she thought she was a genius. Relative. Hello? Entitled Mom. OP is over here screaming at me and being really rude. I wasn't. She's trying to leave, and I know she's going to come over there. I don't want you to let her stay with you, so don't let her. Relative hangs up. I laugh. Entitled Mom starts trying to hit me. I'm defending myself by holding my hands in front of my face, blocking her. Eventually, I lightly shove her away from me. Entitled Mom. I can't believe you would hit me like that. Where did I go wrong raising you? Ironic, maybe. I'm still just ignoring her at this point. I get my dog's leash because I have everything I need for a few weeks packed up. Looking around for my dog when I realized Entitled Mom has grabbed her and ran into her bedroom. No, you can't take everything from me. This is my dog now. I take care of her all day when you're at work, so she likes me better now. I had raised this dog from a puppy since I was 15. I knew if I left without getting her, I'd likely never see her again. We screamed at each other about who really owned the dog. I told Entitled Mom that I always hated her for taking everything from me for herself, that she was a terrible and selfish mother. Entitled Mom got this look on her face like I was the worst person in the world for saying that to her. Then she laid her 300-pound body down on my 15-pound little dog. The dog started yelping in fear, understandably. Entitled Mom. No, you can't have her. She's mine. You're the selfish one here. I don't remember what exactly happened next. All I know was she got up after I said something, still holding onto my dog. She called my dad. Entitled Mom. She just came in here yelling at me and hitting me. I don't know what's wrong with her. Come home from work and stop her. Dad said something that distracted her enough to put my dog down, and the dog promptly runs to me. Within seconds, I've got her on the leash, luggage bags in hand, and I'm sprinting out the door. Bye, Felicia. I've only interacted with her a handful of times since then, but I've more stories that came after this, so let me know if you want more. Next we've got Entitled Dad Can't Believe That Science Has Evolved Since 1950. Hey, Re-Army! Been watching this on YouTube for a while now and absolutely love it. I'm on mobile and English is my first language, so I've got no excuses for grammar. Backstory. My dad was in his 60s and had a big ego. Always had to be the smartest guy in the room and was a massive petrol head. Car guy for our friends across the pond. Not long after he retired, I was involved in a work-related accident. My knee was mangled pretty bad and was laid off due to the injury. I had received 1,700 pounds in compensation, and my dad decided to take most of it to start a delivery business. It was difficult at first, but it eventually worked out. It ended up being the best time of my life. Every day was a new adventure, and I loved it. Now to the story. After 2 years of delivering goods all over the country, my dad started having problems with his eyes. Couldn't focus. Everything was a blur, and all of it was the family's fault. We would keep telling him to see an optician or doctor, but he would insist that he needs his glasses cleaned or needs new ones. During this whole time, he was still driving. We had to literally drag him to the doctor. They did some tests and told him to wait for the report. After a few days, he gets the letter and a diagnosis. He goes pale and orders all of us into the living room for a family meeting. He sits in his high chair with his head lowered, looking like he was about to cry when he finally tells us, "Dad, I don't know how to say this, and I know it's going to be hard for all of us. I just got word from the doctor, and it's not good news." He sits there, acting like he has 5 minutes to live, trying to build up as much drama as possible. "Dad, the doctor said that I'm going to lose my sight." We all look in shock and wait for the explanation. Me, "What did he say? What was the diagnosis?" He looks up and hands me the letter that he clearly didn't read. Me, "Dad, it just says that you have cataracts and that you have to see the surgeon for a consultation." Dad reacted like I just said he had terminal cancer. "Do you realize what this means? I'm going to have surgery, have to be put under general anesthetic, have a bandage wrapped around my head, and be blind for 2 weeks. That's if I survive the anesthetic." Panic had really set in with him. I just look at him, saying to myself, "Really?" And finally decided to bust his "woe is me" BS. "Cataracts? That's it?" "Dad, cataracts is a quick 10-minute operation of which you are awake the whole time. You're not admitted into the hospital for weeks or blinded with bandages. You go home that day." At that moment, you could see the blood boiling in his head and the seething, impotent rage built up inside him. He then erupted so loud it would make the eruption of Mount St. Helens sound like an ant's fart. He threw a cup of boiling hot coffee at me, then the TV remote, and anything that he could grab. "Dad, what the heck do you know, you little freaking jerk? My great aunt had cataracts, and they had to put her under. The surgery didn't even work." Me, "And when was that?" Dad, 1953. Why?" I roll my eyes. "Dad, you do realize that medical science has evolved and developed since 1950. Filled with rage again. "No, it hasn't. Just shut up and get out of my sight. You don't know what you're talking about." I leave him be, still cursing me out. A week later at the surgical consultation, he still doesn't believe me and is still ticked at me for telling him the truth. Doc, "So, Mr. Dad, the procedure is very simple and only takes 10 minutes of your time, and you will have perfect vision in that eye. We will do the other eye a week after." Dad, "So I'm going to be admitted for a week then?" Doctor, "What? No, you go home the same day." "How can I go home the same day if you're putting me under?" "No, sir. We only use a local anesthetic to numb the area. You will be awake the whole time." I stand there with a huge grin on my face, while the only thing Dad can say is, "Oh, okay." I then lean in, just to rub it in. "What was that, Dad? I'm not sure I heard. Did he say that I was right?" He sulks like a child and just says "shut up" under his breath. He had the operations without complications and had perfect 20/20 vision for the rest of his days. And he never apologized or admitted I was right or he was wrong. But I loved to remind him of it every time he loses an argument. And shoutouts to our Re-Generals of the day, Jacqueline, Jennifer, Red Girl, and Just Cheney. Become tomorrow's Re-Generals by leaving as many Re's as you can in the comments below.